Did you know that your father got out?
He's a dangerous man, Calvin. Be careful.
We came back, and they spat on us at the airport. No homecoming parade, no celebrations.
You can't pretend like you have any idea what it's like to be in combat.
No, but what I do know is this field of work that I've dedicated my life to has helped a lot of people.
Regina, how are you doing? Nice to speak to you.
Yeah, nice to speak to you too. Thank you. Thanks for giving us the time.
No, thank you. Thank you for a fantastic film. It really, really hit me so hard. I mean, I just spoke to your director and fellow cast, and I said to them, being someone who suffered from anxiety, OCD, pretty much all my life, and then going on to study psychology as a degree, it kind of really hit me hard, especially your character. Because what I love so much about Elecia is the fact that the film kind of places her at the fault line between professional detachment and moral responsibility. And so she's warned about compassion fatigue. She's warned about that from her superiors, but she believes that her emotional investment is a necessary condition for healing, as a way of ensuring that her patients are treated as individuals rather than abstractions or statistics. So I'm quite curious how you approach balancing kind of this, having to try and be in this position of authority, especially as you're just starting in this role, as in this job, balancing that authority with the empathy with Calvin in the film. How did you balance that to make it just right so that you knew that you had to kind of empathize with the character, but you knew as a professional that you had to hold back, but there was something that you couldn't stop yourself from holding back? It must have been quite a tricky balance, no?
It's a tricky balance. You know, this character is a newcomer. I mean, she's a therapist in training. And really, I didn't know very much about this subject except for what I was experiencing in real life. I hadn't studied psychology. I couldn't do what she does in my life. So I had to do a fair amount of research and talking to people who do that. And it was really a surprise when I read the script that we learn about her life and why she has this direction in life, this cause, if you will. Yeah. Why would she do a job like that for nothing and so all of a sudden you see she's waiting tables at night, doing this job during the day, and then you hear about why she's doing it. You hear about her story, and that usually isn't added into stories. You know, stories usually about the guys, and then we're kind of there as the supportive women, and they made room for her story, which then makes her performance a much stronger role in the film, in the story of, you know, post-traumatic growth, of how does that happen when someone receives help? How does that work? And who's that person doing that? And what's their story? And it gives you a sort of look in onto how this could be possible. And these are all real stories that are in this script. So it was, but you know, it helped me reading it. And then to do the film, I knew that it was going to be hard to leave that one at work. You know, it's going to be hard not to take it home.
Absolutely. I mean, there's one specific thing. I don't want to spoil anything, of course. I don't want to spoil anything about your backstory. But there is in these sessions that you have with Calvin, you do talk about suicide and how suicide is not a way to escape being miserable. It prevents getting help and finding happiness, which was beautifully put. I couldn't put it better myself. I imagine you had really complicated conversations with Calvin about that specific scene.
Oh, yes, because first of all, I was surprised that it was in there at all, because people just don't want to talk about suicide. Exactly. They don't want to talk about grief. It was just like they don't want to talk about cancer. You know, everyone gets really like they you know, they mean well. They don't know how. They don't have the words to talk about it. And so those of us who have that experience in our lives, we're kind of alone. And it's really nice, when someone says thoughts and prayers, or, and just because they don't know what else to say. But the thing is, what I learned after doing this film and the people that I met in the process was that you must talk about it. You can, because there are people that are going to listen. There are people who hear you and can be there for you, even if it's your journal. Like I did a lot of writing and I really hate doing that. I'm not one of those people who journals
but it
everything.
really does help, though.
No,
Yeah, to
but
get it out there.
but to put it into words allows you to put your healing into action. And I really like that there were those kind of things in the story. Like it wasn't just we're going to show a big battle and then a destroyed person.
Yeah.
There's what happens then. And so this is his story of when he comes home. And what about the people around that person who comes home? Where do they find support? How do they reach that person who's been through that? And I'd never heard the term post-traumatic growth.
Yeah, no,
I'd always
neither, yeah.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. And people don't want to talk about that either. But post-traumatic growth, wow, that's recovery. That's somebody getting better. That's healing. And oh God, I just loved that. And the reaction to the film has been the same as mine. They love being able to hear about this and learn about it. It also helps people it gives people information who want to help, people who want to be of service, people who somehow want to get involved. And those who have been through it, maybe give them the idea that they can find support and help and recovery and ultimately growth.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had a long time suffering of anxiety, and it doesn't cure me, the film, but it ended with a silver lining. It was such a deep, dark story, but there's a silver lining at the end of the tunnel.
I mean, you must experience that too, because people use that as a catchphrase as well. Like, oh, I was totally OCD about that. You're like, wait a minute. This is something that's a real thing. Like it's not somebody who's nervous. Okay. This is like, this is something that to be contended with. This is something that affects
Can't
their
just
lives.
take a chill pill, relax, take it easy. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Have some wine. I mean, it's like, no, this is a real, but maybe they mean well. I don't know. It's just,
no, of course, they're just, it's this.
But words are important.
Because we don't talk about it. People don't know how to kind of react and speak and help to people because they don't know what's inside, which is something that you said, that people don't know what the soldiers have been through. So they don't know how to kind of receive them properly when they do come back because they can't tell what's going on in their head, like you said in the film.
I was telling the story because I had a veteran say to me, this is in the very beginning, maybe one of the first screenings that I was in, where he said, it's people don't even want to talk to me. And I was like, really? And he said, it's be nice when someone just says, how you doing? Or when someone says, I said, well, how do you feel when someone says, thank you for your service? And he goes, those are not empty words if you mean them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
No.
And
I think that's sorry to interrupt you. I think that's in the film.
That.
I think somebody does say, thank you for your service. And I think Calvin realizes he doesn't mean it because he's like, thank you for your service. That's exactly what, as you said. Yeah. I imagine Calvin probably came up with that scene because of that, because of him saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you say that, but put meaning, put truth behind those words.
Absolutely, yeah. And I want to talk about Stevens describes Sheepdog as obviously as a conversation starter for veterans and their communities, like we just said.
Oh yes.
So I'm quite curious what you hope viewers and families will take away from that, like we've been saying, the unseen costs of service, particularly at a time when personal connection is so lacking, when we just go on Instagram or TikTok and people don't they're not tete-a-tete anymore as they used to be. So what did you take away, and what do you hope people will take away from this that maybe kind of start to just to get the ball rolling, to turn things around a bit?
Well, this is a story about hope and growth and recovery, and it's about human connection. So, like you and I right now, we're talking like through space. We're talking through machines. Wouldn't it be better if you and I are face to face? Well, of course, but this is what we have, and I'm glad we were able to connect this way from different parts of the world. But be mindful of having more human connection, because we are losing a great deal of that. And I feel like that humanity is losing a great deal by that loss, through that loss,
No,
So
absolutely.
go outside. Go outside
exactly.
and play.
But it's very difficult. I've got two teenage kids, and it's so difficult to. I used to be able to speak to my parents when I was a teenager, more or less. But now, because there's telephones in the hand, the iPad or whatever, it's so much harder. So it's these kind of films are really important to make people go out and speak to people face to face. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's go ahead. It's not go ahead. And if there's a lot of good things, as most people that in their business and in other ways, and grandparents far away, Zoom is a great thing, and it's FaceTime and all that stuff, but you must have the human contact. You must have conversations on purpose, so that you can look each other in the eye. I'm noticing there's a lot less eye contact when I'm out in the world. And if just even I think I notice this more because I'm an actress. Like if I'm just at a checkout, retail and grocery store, and I always take a moment to say, how you doing, to the person working there. And they're kind of like, oh, thanks, because everyone's like this while they're checking out their groceries. They're just going like this. Oh yeah, thanks. Oh, come on, just take a second. It'll make your day better. It'll certainly make their day better. So more contact.
Well, that's the perfect way to finish, because that's the perfect excuse for everybody to get out of their houses and go and see the film in theaters, and then look at each other in the eyes and talk about it afterwards. Thank you so much for your time. Go
outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Even in the snow.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic release. Best of luck with the release, and have a fantastic Christmas and New Year as well.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Nice to speak to you.
All right.
All the best. Bye now.
My pain is relative, son. Sometimes we gotta fall apart to find ourselves all over again.
Wait for me there, wait for me there.
You were willing to give your life for your country. Now maybe you can try living for it.